Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana and today I want to show you how I made these amazing donuts. Some of them I glazed them, some of them I just powdered them with sugar, but everyone loves them. So for the dough I'm going to use 300 milliliters of milk or 1 cup and a quarter, 60 grams of sugar or 1/3 of a cup, also flour. I have 470 grams of 3 cups and a half, 1 egg, 1 stick of butter or 100 grams of soft butter, 7 grams of dry active yeast, the zest of a lemon, 8 grams of vanillinated sugar, some nutmeg, and also a pinch of salt. Over the flour add a bit of salt, and you also can grate some of that nutmeg. It will give lots of flavor to this dough, and it actually makes a difference if you add a bit of salt in any dessert. In the meantime, heat up the milk on the stove. Don't boil it, just warm it up a bit to be warm to the touch. I have still trouble with this warm word, but this is it. Let's activate the yeast now. So in this warm milk I will add the sugar, vanillinated sugar, and the granulated one. Add the yeast as well. This is why I'm telling you that the milk doesn't have to be hot, it will kill the yeast. So just warm it up a bit, add some flour and leave it aside for 10 minutes. In the meantime, let's grate the lemon. Only the yellow part. The white part is bitter, so we don't need that. Only the yellow one. It will give flavor and the donuts will smell incredible nice. My grandma used to do this with dessert, so I'm doing the same. If you don't have lemons, oranges are good as well, or even lime. I will clean the dough with the mixer, and I'm pouring the flour in a mixer bowl. Add 1 egg over it. And another trick that I discovered is I'm not melting the butter when I have to use butter in the dough, because this way the dough will be softer for a longer time. So I just use the butter at room temp. Now I'm using the mixer to knead everything, and I'm adding the yeast with the milk and the sugar, and I'm kneading this for about 10 minutes. From time to time it's good to scrape the bowl with the spatula, because you need to incorporate all the flour in this dough. But even if I'm kneading the dough with the mixer, I always knead the dough a bit with my hands, because I want to feel the texture and I know exactly if needs more flour or not, you know. And I really enjoy kneading the dough with my hands as well. If the dough is too soft, you can add more flour, 1 tablespoon at a time of flour. You don't need a dough that is too tough, but the dough doesn't have to be too soft or too sticky either. So if you need, add more flour, 1 tablespoon at a time, and incorporate it well and knead the dough very, very good. So powder the working surface with some flour and knead the dough for 5 more minutes, or just give it shape, and it will rise nicely, and in no time you will end up with lots of donuts that you have to share with friends. Don't eat them all. So as you can see, I'm not adding too much flour, just a tiny bit, because I don't want the dough to be too sticky, but it's super soft and nice to work with. I have to let it rise, so I will put it in a bowl that I greased with oil, and also it's good to grease the dough with a bit of oil on top, because will prevent it from drying. And also you can cover it with a clean kitchen towel or cling film and leave it to rise until it will double in size. Depending on the temperature in your kitchen, it will happen faster or not, but because the milk was warm enough, the dough will rise fast. After that, split the dough in half and stretch half of it on your working surface. Cut the donuts with a round shape ring, and to put the holes in them, I use the tip from the piping bag, and I place them in a tray on baking paper and leave them aside for another 30 minutes to rise again. The excess dough you can knead a bit and stretch it again, and you will end up with lots of donuts, as I said. The dough that you don't work with, keep it covered with that cling film, and this way will prevent it from drying. If the excess dough that you reshaped is too tough to be stretched, leave it a bit on your counter for about 10 minutes and the dough will relax and you will be able to stretch it again and form more donuts. So after you shaped all the donuts, you will have to leave them to rise again for about 30 minutes. And this way you will end up with nice looking donuts, puffy and soft inside and amazing. I will heat up some oil in a pot, and I don't want the oil to be too hot because they will fry only on the surface and inside will be raw, so be careful with that. Medium fire, and fry them gradually, not all at once. Don't put too many at once in your pot because the temperature of the oil will drop so much and you will not fry them properly. Turn them on all sides until they are golden brown, and take them off that oil on a grater and let them cool down for a few minutes before you glaze them, of course. For the glaze, I'm going to use 2 cups of powdered sugar, or 360 grams of powdered sugar. I'm going to melt in the microwave 1/4 of a cup of butter, and also 4 or 5 tablespoons of milk, and some vanilla extract just to give more flavor. I will mix the melted butter with the milk and with powdered sugar until I will end up with this amazing glaze. And to glaze the donuts, just pass them through this liquidy mixture and let them drain, and let them also dry. You can sprinkle on top different sprinkles, chocolate or whatever you prefer. And beside this, some of the donuts I just powder with sugar, simple and tasty. They look amazing with powdered sugar as well, and to be honest, I like them more because I don't like the sugar that much, but you do as you like. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Find reasons to smile every day, and I'm going to see you here next time with another recipe.